My name is Evan Mercer, and I used to work as a part-time stagehand at the Wilburn Theater in downtown Boston. It was supposed to be a temporary job, something to help pay rent until I finished school. I never believed in ghosts, hauntings, or cursed buildings, but that place changed me. The Wilburn wasn't just old, it felt ancient. Tall velvet curtains, peeling gold trim, wood that cracked and sighed like it remembered every voice that had ever echoed there. A lot of performers loved it because of the history. A lot of workers hated it for the same reason. Everyone had a story about the Wilburn. Props moving on their own, voices over the intercom when it wasn't even plugged in, shadows crossing the stage during empty rehearsals. I ignored all of it. Old buildings make noises. People scare themselves. That's what I always thought. Until the night everything went wrong. It was early November, just getting cold enough that you could see your breath indoors. We had just wrapped a production, and I stayed late to clean and lock up. My supervisor, Mason, clapped me on the shoulder on his way out. "You're good till midnight, right?" "Yeah," I told him. "I'll do one final walkthrough." I didn't know I'd be the only living person in the building for the rest of the night. At 11:20, I made my way to the main auditorium. My footsteps echoed through the room, bouncing off thousands of empty seats. When a theater is full, it's alive, but when it's empty, it feels like a corpse. I swept my flashlight across the rows. Everything looked normal, until I hit row E. One seat was down. That might not sound strange, but the cleaning crew always left every seat folded up. I walked over, pushed it upright, and kept moving. Before I made it 3 steps, click. I turned. The seat was down again. I stared at it. My heart started picking up, but I forced myself to breathe. Springs can loosen, hinges stick. I pushed it up again, harder this time, and kept going. I made it to the stage, turned to look back. The seat was down again, and something was sitting in it. I couldn't see details, just a silhouette, shoulders, a head, the shape of someone leaning forward slightly, watching me. My flashlight slipped in my hand. I pointed it directly at the seat, and the shadow was gone. The seat was empty, but the cushion was still pressed down. I backed away. My name caught in my throat. Something was wrong with the air, like the temperature dropped 10 degrees in seconds. Every hair on my arm stood up. That's when I heard it. A woman's voice, soft and rehearsed, like she was saying a line from a script. "Places, everyone." It came from the stage. I spun around, and my light landed on a woman standing near the curtain. Pale skin, black hair in a vintage bun, wearing a long dark dress like actresses from the 1920s. She looked as real as anyone I ever saw. "Ma'am, the building's closed. You need to..." She raised a finger to her lips and smiled. The house lights flickered, not just a little, violently, like someone was switching them on and off as fast as possible. And then everything went pitch black. The only sound in the dark was the slow lowering of the seat in row E. Creak, click, creak, click. Footsteps followed, descending the carpeted aisle towards me. I backed up onto the stage, nearly tripping over sandbags. When I finally managed to turn my phone flashlight on, there was no woman, no footsteps, no shadow. But now there were 20 seats pressed down, all in row E, like an entire invisible audience was watching me from the darkness. I whispered, "Hello?" Every seat slowly rose, one by one, until only the seat in the dead center remained occupied. My mind kept telling me to run, but something made me step closer. I don't know why. Maybe I needed proof I wasn't imagining it. Maybe curiosity is just another form of stupidity. When I reached the row, I saw something sitting on the armrest. A theater program. Old, yellowed, the ink cracked and faded. The Lover's Shadow, 1979 premiere performance. I didn't recognize the title. When I opened it, half the pages were stiff with dust. On the inside cover, written in pencil, were 2 words: "She's waiting." A whisper floated across the seats, close enough that I felt breath on my ear. "Sit down." I dropped the program and ran. I didn't stop until I reached the lobby. I stood in the only working light, shaking so hard my teeth wouldn't stay still. I called Mason and told him I was done. He thought I was drunk or messing around, but I didn't care. I walked out of that building and promised I'd never go back. 4 days later, Mason sent me a picture. It was the same theater program, sitting perfectly centered in row E, seat 14. He texted, "Did you forget this?" I wasn't crazy. I wasn't imagining it. Something, or someone, still sits in that seat. And if you ever find yourself in the Wilburn Theater, sitting near row E, don't look behind you if you hear a seat lower. She doesn't like being interrupted.
My name is Olivia Hart. I work as a backstage tech at Haraway Theater, an old Victorian-era playhouse that our town treats like some kind of antique relic. Props falling apart, seats ripped, stained carpets. Yet every month we hosted a community theater show. Nothing famous, nothing special, but what made Haraway terrifying wasn't the building. It was the curtain. That long, ceiling-to-floor velvet curtain that draped over the back entrance of the stage. Nobody touched it. Nobody moved it. No matter how many sets, plays, or concerts happened, that curtain always stayed closed. Crew joke was, "You open the curtain, you quit the next day." I laughed at it until the night I found out why. The first strange thing happened during rehearsal. The lead actor stopped suddenly, staring past me toward the curtain. "Who's that?" he whispered. I turned. No one there. He swore a woman was standing behind me in white, watching him perform. We brushed it off. Until later that night. Only 4 of us stayed. Me, the director, the lead actor, and the pianist. We were packing up when the pianist suddenly slammed his hands on the keys. Wrong notes, loud, chaotic. He was staring at the curtain. "She's there." His voice wasn't shouting, more like someone talking through a bad dream. The lead actor and I turned. The curtain was bulging, like someone was pressed against it from behind. The director, annoyed, marched toward it. "Whoever is back there, come out." He ripped the curtain aside. Nothing. Just brick wall. No doorway, no passage, no room. But the fabric was ice cold, like it had been soaking in water. We all went home shaken. But the next night, that's when things went insane. During the show, the audience started complaining that someone kept walking on stage behind the actors. A tall woman in white, pale face, bare feet. The director stopped the show mid-performance, yelling that no one was scheduled to enter from backstage. But when he stormed behind the stage into the wings, he found all backstage doors chained shut from the inside. And the curtain was moving, not swaying from a draft, breathing. In and out, slow, heavy. The director ordered me to help him open it. I didn't want to. My stomach was in my throat. But I held the curtain while he pulled. The moment we opened it, something ran between us. Invisible, but so loud the entire audience heard it, like bare feet slapping against wood as someone sprinted across the stage. The lead actor screamed, dropping to the floor. The audience erupted. Show canceled. After everyone left, the director forced us to stay behind and figure it out. He kept saying it was a prank, a squatter, a thief. We all split up. I stayed near the stage lights, while the pianist tuned his piano, hands still shaking. Then all the lights went out. Complete blackness. Footsteps, fast, circling us. Something brushed past me, cold, like skin fresh from a freezer. The pianist yelled, "She's here!" His voice cut off. We found him on the stage floor unconscious, face pale as chalk, fingertips blue. He woke minutes later, whispering, "She's in the curtain, and she's not alone." We all quit the same night, but the theater didn't shut down. Not yet. 2 months later, police were called. Someone reported screaming coming from inside the theater at 4 a.m. No one was inside, doors locked, alarm system untouched. Police body cams captured something no officer has been able to explain. The curtain moving. Something pressing out from behind it. A face-shaped bulge, then 2 hands, then a third, then more, like a crowd trapped behind fabric. The footage was sealed. Haraway Theater shut down a week later. Sometimes, driving home late, I swear I see a woman in white, standing in the top floor window, watching, waiting, like the curtain was only the beginning.
My name is Lucas Gray, and last summer, I started a part-time job as a late-night cleaner at Carlton Theater. Small job, easy money. Clean floors, wipe seats, empty bins. The building was almost always empty by midnight. Except for one thing. The theater had 99 seats, but every night when I counted them, there were 100. I thought I was miscounting, so one night I recorded the seats by number. 1, 2, 3. I counted twice, then 3 times. Still 100. The weird thing? Seat number 43 didn't exist. It wasn't attached. It wasn't real. When I touched it, my hand passed through it like smoke holding a shape. I told my supervisor. He laughed. "Ghost seat," he said. "Part of the charm." But the seat kept showing up. Sometimes further down the row, sometimes alone in the aisle, sometimes in the balcony. One night, around 2 a.m., music started playing from the speakers. Soft, violin, classical music from old performances. The system was unplugged. I walked down the aisle. Seat 43 was there again. And someone was sitting in it. An old man in a tuxedo, back straight, hands folded on his lap. I froze. My breath turned cold. He didn't look at me, just stared at the empty stage. I backed away slowly, reaching for my phone. When I looked back, he was gone. The seat was gone. Nothing there. Next morning, I told the supervisor again. This time, he didn't laugh. He pulled me into his office, shut the door, and said, "You saw the maestro." He told me about the theater's founder, an orchestra conductor who died during his final performance. Heart attack. The audience thought it was part of the show until he collapsed. He died facing the stage. Seat 43 was his seat, his perfect view, his final audience. I should have quit, but I didn't believe in ghosts, not really. Until a week later when the power failed during my shift. The emergency lights flickered on, the stage curtain opened on its own, and every seat was filled. Black silhouettes, sitting, perfectly still. Hundreds of them, silent, watching the stage. The orchestra began to play, louder, louder, until my ears rang. Someone stood behind me, slow breathing, cold hands on my shoulders. A whisper, "Sit down." I turned and saw the maestro's face inches from mine, pale, sunken, eyes like black glass. He pointed toward seat 43, now waiting for me. I ran, quit, moved out of the city. Carlton Theater shut down last winter. Some nights, people say they hear music playing from inside, lights flickering and shadows sitting patiently, as if waiting for the show to continue.